Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NXT May 29th, 2019 review. This show ended on the best note possible. The only thing I don't like the idea of is that the Undisputed Era winning every single match. I'd be okay with if Johnny Gargano wasn't his very first title defense as world champion on NXT. I don't want him going out looking like a paper champion and losing to Adam Cole. So quite frankly, that idea of Undisputed Era being undisputed for the NXT TakeOver 25 event, I'm not really feeling the idea of that. I do like the idea of the Undisputed Era winning the tag team titles. Roderick Strong beating Matt Riddle. But Johnny Gargano has not had a long enough title reign to lose it to Adam Cole yet. I don't like that idea at all. I think that would be a very bad idea. So, that is a bit of a concern to me. Now, if they go along with Adam Cole winning the World Championship from Johnny Gargano, well, they're living up to what Adam Cole said at the beginning of the year, that Undisputed Era will be undisputed for 2019, draping with gold. The only thing missing is Roderick Strong with a World Championship of some kind, more than likely the North American Championship. So, the rest of the show was just pretty average, okay, decent, okay, go-home show. Had two promo videos, one about the world title match, and the other was about the North American Championship with Tyler Breeze and Velveteen Dream. Now, this matchup with Velveteen Dream and Tyler Breeze, I like the setup, I like the similarities between the characters, but then there's one little thing of detail that makes it look like shit. And that is the fact that they're mentioning Tyler Breeze on the main roster, not making it on the main roster, and being a complete and utter joke and outcast to the rest of the WWE main roster. That just displays one thing. It devalues Tyler Breeze's character, number one. Number two, my question is, why is he challenging for the North American Championship anyway, outside of the answer being Vince McMahon took all the good talent from the mid-card division of the NXT and moved them to the fucking main roster and doing nothing with them anyway. You know, like EC3, he would have been a great contender for the North American Championship. Let's see here. Trying to think through some other characters. They could have moved Aleister Black to the mid-card division. Just see him win a North American Championship or just have a nice little rematch with Velveteen Dream. I mean, anything. And instead, they got nothing. Half of the fucking NXT stars that were in the mid-card, I don't even remember because they don't even use them on the WWE main roster at all. I think the worst the worst out of the bunch that got nothing from this whole move to the main roster shit is EC3, because he was an outstanding character. He had a gimmick that was really good, and it reminded me in some cases of Robert Roode. Now Bobby. Oh yeah, he's now Robert Roode instead of Bobby Roode. I keep forgetting what the fuck kind of character he's portraying now with that fucking name. Robert Roode, Bobby Roode. It's all the same shit, just a shaved face with a mustache. It looks like Rick Rude. Bottom line is, guys, I don't even know why. And some weeks I've missed the last couple of months. The last couple of months I've missed an episode to review for that specific month. So please excuse me, but I'm losing interest in NXT. And it's not because of the wrestlers. It's not because of creative. It's not because of anything they're doing wrong. My problem is I can't sit through watching NXT and realizing that one thing is going to come in their future, and that's the WWE main roster destroying everything they built and created with their characters. I got some interesting news I'm going to bring up in another video. I might do it tonight or I might do it tomorrow. I also got to do that preview and predictions video for the NXT TakeOver event, which I'll more than likely do tomorrow. But really, to be honest with you guys, I have a very interesting article I read on Cage Side Seats, which will blow your minds, and it was about Dean Ambrose and his experience in WWE before he left the WWE roster and moved on to AEW. This is going to blow your fucking minds. Keep an eye out for it. It's going to be under the Random Wrestling Talk episode number 16, so keep an eye out for that. I'm definitely going to be bringing up about what he had to say and his experience that made him change his mind about wanting to stay with WWE. It's going to be fucking unbelievable when I tell you guys this. Probably the biggest monumental episode I have ever done on this channel. Period. It's going to blow your fucking minds. But giving you a little heads up on that with the Random Wrestling Talk episode. Going back to this, the NXT show was okay. It wasn't nothing mind-blowing. They pretty much kind of got you a little bit hyped up for the interest in going to see NXT TakeOver 25, which most definitely will blow away Money in the Bank ever could fucking do. And possibly, I'm going to say possibly, blow away AEW's Double or Nothing, but I'm not going to be full on all the way with that until I see what they have to present to me and the rest of us as an audience. So, if they can deliver a lot better than what fucking AEW did from Double or Nothing, by God, Vince, you have the talent, you have the resources, you have the creative team to create a very good wrestling show. Now, whether you want to assume your role as what you are, a wrestling company, by all means, do that. Now, I understand you're sports entertainment. Start acting like a sports entertainer. Entertain us with sports, which is what you're doing, is professional wrestling. That is what we are here to watch. Professional wrestling. Not a three-ring circus and a fucking retard hellhole of bullshit and pawn bullshit. I watch the WWE episodes of Raw and SmackDown on the WWE Network. Modern Day Wrestling, a month behind. And I gotta tell you something. I watched the episode that just recently was released for the episode when AJ Styles was announced, won his way and earned his way to being number one contender for Universal title for Money in the Bank. And I gotta tell you something. That, outside of the triple threat match AJ Styles was in, his one-on-one match with Baron Corbin was so mind-numbing and boring that I couldn't stand the fucking match and didn't really pay much attention to the fucking match to begin with. It was such a fucking joke. That's how pathetic that is, and that's having AJ Styles in the match. You shouldn't be having your audience, especially a person like me who adores this man's in-ring work. And I was bored watching him perform with Baron Corbin. If you got something like that happening with me, I definitely feel there's a fucking problem. This show was very kind of laid back. It gave you its little, push to get you hyped up for the NXT TakeOver event. The ending segments of the show was the whole premise of what you should be watching the show for. The rest of it was just some really good, decent in-ring action. Mia Yim got her revenge victory, 50-50 booking in fucking NXT. Can you believe that shit? You'd think maybe there would have been a double count-out, leading to maybe them being on the pre-show and having Mia Yim and Bianca Belair compete in a one-on-one matchup again, in a no count-out match. Something, anything. But we got a fucking 50-50 booking setup here between Mia Yim and Bianca Belair. Now, Granted, she did cheat. Bianca Belair cheated in her victory. So at the end of the day, it all evens out. So, really, if you want to get technical, they should have been booked for a matchup at NXT TakeOver 25 and make this a no-holds-barred match. You know, a street fight, something of that kind of nature, where there are no rules. But Mia Yim picks up her victory and revenges her loss to Bianca Belair. Kushida first faces Drew Gulak. This was a very good technician wrestling matchup that I found very interesting. I didn't think it was off the charts amazing, but it was decent wrestling nonetheless. Both men really performed good technician moves, good chain wrestling involved in the entire matchup. At the end of the day, Kushida picked up a fancy pin attempt and got the victory, the 1-2-3. So he wasn't able to submit Drew Gulak a couple of times. It did look like Drew Gulak was actually tapping out, but unfortunately, referee did not call this as a tap out. So technically, he wasn't tapping out. It was just kind of getting pissed off and upset about the situation of continuously being placed in submission holds. But decent match overall, and as I already mentioned, the matchup between and then they had the the Forgettable Sons and the Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch going one-on-one with each other in a tag team matchup, which ended up being a disqualification at the end of the day, a no contest, and it was just a free-for-all with a bunch of tag teams. The only thing that really meant the damn is the Undisputed Era doing what they did to everybody out in the arena. That's it. And then Adam Cole announcing that Undisputed Era will win every single match that they're involved in at NXT TakeOver 25. Now, let's get real. You know, there's a lot of talk I've heard on YouTube from wrestling, from the wrestling community. There's no major, larger than life type characters. Let me tell you something. The Undisputed Era is like the NWO, the Bullet Club, that kind of faction, the Four Horsemen. These four guys just give off larger than life characters. These guys are ass kickers. They don't take no shit from nobody. They're like Evolution. They fly high, they kick people's asses, and they do whatever it takes to get the victory, and it doesn't matter how they do it, they just want to win. That I like. That is something that needs to be promoted as a high level thing and made important. You got all these fucking factions on WWE's main roster that mean absolutely nothing. You got Shane McMahon now with fucking Drew McIntyre, I heard, is with Shane McMahon. What the fuck is Drew McIntyre doing with Shane McMahon? Really, to be quite frank with you guys, for any of you out there that watch WWE's main roster shows, both Raw and SmackDown, or just one of them for that matter at this point, because SmackDown is just as much as rolled into fucking Monday Night Raw as Raw's rolled into SmackDown. They're both fucking garbage. There's no difference between the two. There's nothing unique about either one of them. They're all rolled into one lumpy shit, sloppy load of diarrhea you could ever ask for. Seriously. I can't believe some of the fucking reviewers that watch this shit are saying the same damn things. They can't stand... There's some differences between the couple of guys I listen to on YouTube about their opinions about professional wrestling, but general overall opinion is they think it sucks. Drew McIntyre is a fucking lackey to Shane McMahon? For what? Come on. Look, I have to get this off my chest for any of you who watches Raw or SmackDown, and this is even directed at my best friend Matthew, who him and I, we talk about professional wrestling all the time. And one thing I'd like to mention to him, and anyone who does the same thing as my best friend, if you guys sit through this shit, you guys sit through 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, through all the commercials and all the bullshit that you can't skip through if you were watching it on the WWE Network or Hulu or whatever, I would give you a medal if I had one. You guys deserve a fucking medal around your neck, like Kurt Angle. Seriously. You guys have a lot of chutzpah to sit through the bullshit that most people can't sit through. Now, if you guys are doing this because you're just loyal fans to the WWE, kudos to you. I am a loyal fan to WWE, but I cannot sit through a show that insults my intelligence and makes me feel dumb. Then on top of it, it's lifeless. There's no organization throughout the entire company of what direction they want to go with characters. There's 50-50 booking. 1 minute they got the characters getting really hot. The next minute they take them off TV completely, making people completely forget who the fuck they are or what they are doing. I got a question. Bray Wyatt. I've been listening to people's reviews on the last couple of months. Since I stopped watching this shitty fucking product. Bray Wyatt is hyped up throughout the month of April leading up to Money in the Bank. He gets this Slipknot mask. I haven't heard a damn word about Bray Wyatt since then. Since that gimmick where he whipped out this Slipknot mask and he turned into an evil villain, new version of Bray Wyatt. Has he been used? Nope. Has he done anything? Has he had a match? Did he even interfere in a match, for that matter, to create a storyline between him and another character? I haven't heard anything. This is an abomination to professional wrestling and an insult to everyone who likes wrestling. I have nothing against good storyline telling. I don't even mind a good comedy and a laugh. But if you're not going to be comedic and you're not good at being comedic, then don't do it. Stick with what you're good at. If you have to do straightforward storytelling, then do straightforward storytelling. You don't have to go ahead and go beyond your imagination that you can't do and be successful with it. Don't do that. Do what you know you're successful with and stick with it. If simple storyline telling is your gig and it's something that works and gets over with the crowd, then stick with that. That's all you gotta do. Stick with what works. Comedy ain't Vince McMahon's bag. I don't know who he had beforehand that was doing his comedy, but the comedy then ain't like what it is now. This comedy now is fucking shit. And it makes no sense, and it's not even funny. The characters are just fucking bland, retarded, and come across as dumb as a rock. And I'm sorry I go ahead and I go on these tangents about WWE's main roster, even though this is really about NXT's show. Really, NXT's show was a simple little 3 matches and a little bit of hype up for the NXT TakeOver show, and that's it. At the end of the day, when you watch NXT, you know where they're going. They're going straight to hell. That hell is the WWE main roster. And now, since I mentioned about this, and I brought up about Dean Ambrose's little situation, about what he was going through, I'm going to go ahead and release that video now. So, I'll upload this video, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to this channel, hit the like button if you like the video, and write a comment down below if you're interested in saying any kind of opinion, and stress it to me, and I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be right back with a new video for Random Wrestling Talk, episode number 16. Thank you, and goodbye.